In April 2023, Officer Scott Harrell, a 4-year veteran of the Texas City Police Department, allegedly initiated a traffic stop after observing a vehicle speeding and cutting through parking spaces at a gas station. Officer Harrell approached Christopher Scholl, the driver, and informed him about the alleged violations. Scholl denied any wrongdoing, stating that he was not speeding, that he regularly took the direct path through the parking lot to the gas pumps. Despite Scholl's compliance and explanation, Officer Harrell accused him of disregarding traffic control devices and threatened to issue a citation.
Where I'm stepping out of traffic here, buddy. Don't walk up to my car, please.
What?
Don't walk up to my car, please. Hey, man, you can't drive through a parking lot like that. You got your driver's license insurance? Any weapons in the car I need to worry about? Ford, did you catch my traffic?
Yes, sir. Have you on traffic here, buddy?
Robert John Lincoln, 4732, Robert John Lincoln, 4732, copy 27.
Sorry.
14, 41, 65, 88, 14, 41, 65, 88. Is there any particular reason why you felt you needed to come through the parking lot like that?
I didn't think I did anything wrong. I just came over to get gas.
You were speeding and you cut through parking spaces. You know you can't do that.
Injuries will be confirmed on Robert John.
I didn't think I was doing anything, man.
I mean, you
all
looked
I'm doing
around.
is coming to get gas.
Yep. Oh, are we gonna go back and forth, or are you just gonna?
You asked me the question. You want me to answer it or not? I'm not.
Okay.
If anything, I thought I was going even slower than normal.
No, sir.
Because normally people don't even park where you park, and that's the direct path to the gas pumps.
Through the parking spaces is the direct.
I do realize that. I know that there's parking spaces there.
And you almost hit that car that was turning right there. I was watching, man.
The traffic stop was initiated on private property, and Texas law generally does not enforce traffic laws in parking lots, driveways, or alleys. Therefore, it can be argued that Mr. Scholl was unlawfully detained by Officer Harrell.
Go ahead.
I think so.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, the officer asked the man to show his license and checked it within his system if there was anything suspicious, but everything was clean.
So,
I'm not kidding you either, man. I come here every day, dude.
Look, I'm not.
I send pictures of my wife the price of the gas here every day when I come through.
Okay, look.
So anyway.
Here's the deal, man. I'm not gonna go back and forth and all that. I'm not gonna write you tickets, but the only reason I'm not writing you tickets is because I'm out of tickets right now. Okay, otherwise you would be receiving a citation.
For what? Would be the citation? I'm just curious.
Disregarding traffic control device.
On private property?
Yes.
Okay.
You still can't do that. It's still illegal.
Okay.
During the interaction, Officer Harrell demonstrated a power trip, unlawfully detaining Mr. Scholl and making false accusations against him. Despite Mr. Scholl's attempts to de-escalate the situation, Officer Harrell persisted in his aggressive behavior. Nevertheless, Officer Harrell continued to escalate the situation by accusing Scholl of reckless driving and threatening to arrest him. Eventually, Officer Harrell arrested Mr. Scholl, claiming he believed Scholl would continue to engage in unsafe behavior in the future.
I was sitting right there, and he came through the parking lot and cut through all the spaces. He came through so fast and whooped into here, and there was a white truck. The white truck had to slam on its brakes. So I come over here. I was just gonna be like, hey man, chill out. Like, chill out, don't be like that. But he wanted to go back and forth and argue with me and give me all kinds of stuff. And like, I didn't have any tickets and I didn't grab a rider this morning. So I was like, man, look, it didn't have to go this way. He kept going back and forth, so I was like, all right, let's go.
Another officer arrived at the scene, and Officer Harrell recounted the situation, portraying himself as the victim and Mr. Scholl as the aggressor. However, Officer Harrell realized his misconduct and decided to handle the situation differently. He cited Mr. Scholl for disregarding traffic control devices and allowed him to leave.
What motorcycle?
I understand. Corey Scholl's no longer in custody. Okay, once you sign right here, it's not a admission of guilt.
Repeat your last?
Mr. Scholl is no longer in custody. It's not an admission of guilt, it's just a promise you'll contact the court on or before the date and time that's written on here. You can contact the court at the bottom here, the information's there, and also up there. Free to go, sir.
Following the incident, Officer Harrell was placed on administrative duty and is under investigation by the Internal Affairs Department. The Texas City Police Department has strict policies against violating individuals' rights during encounters. Chief Joe Stanton announced that the results of the investigation will be made public once a final disposition is reached. Mr. Scholl, who considers himself pro-police, viewed the traffic stop as unjustified and a violation of his rights. He plans to take the case to trial and is considering civil action against the department. He has set up a GoFundMe campaign to cover legal fees for the potential lawsuit. And now let's move to another video. In a recent encounter involving the Cleveland Heights Police Department, a female officer was observed recklessly pulling in front of another vehicle while conducting a traffic stop. The driver of the other vehicle, who narrowly avoided an accident, began recording the incident on his mobile phone.
1 second! A1 radio, stand by. It's going to be on Mayfield across from the first access road. Send me another unit because another party does not know how to yield to lights and sirens, and he's sitting here recording me. Say they almost ran him off the road. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Officer Lewis with Cleveland Heights. The reason I'm for the traffic stop is the plates on the vehicle are expired. It's not even a big deal. Do you know that guy behind me in the Porsche?
I was trying to hurry up and move over.
You're good. No, you're good. You did the right thing. I put my lights out and sirens. He did not move over.
As the officer stepped out of her patrol vehicle, the officer expressed his concern over the near collision. The officer instructed the driver to wait while she proceeded with the traffic stop. However, the driver patiently parked behind the patrol vehicle and continued recording. The officer initially admitted her mistake and apologized to the driver, but during their conversation, she suddenly changed her stance, blaming the driver for her own errors.
Apologize.
You almost ran me off the road.
I initiated my lights and sirens.
I didn't hear anything.
But was your music on? Because I had the lights and sirens on, sir.
Yes, sir. You apologize.
I apologize.
You're wrong.
He stopped abruptly. Okay, I'm not wrong. The lights and sirens were activated.
You ran me
Okay,
off the road
I did not
almost.
do that, sir. The lights and sirens on my
you apologize.
marked patrol because he stopped abruptly, causing me to stop
And I almost
abruptly,
caused an
causing
accident.
you to stop abruptly.
Right.
And I apologize for that. However, the lights and sirens were on. Okay, the police vehicle is marked. You can clearly see it's a marked patrol vehicle. I initiated lights and sirens. I'm not going to argue, and I'm telling you I do. I'm going to tell you I do apologize that he did stop
But I'm
abruptly.
gonna tell you the disconnect.
Nobody was wrong.
I'm gonna tell you the disconnect, right? So between the public and you as a public
You want
servant,
me to just that driver check? Okay.
if there's something wrong and you actually
Yeah.
did it, all you say, my bad. I'm
And I
sorry,
did. I just
and
said.
keep going.
I said my bad. I said I activated a I initiated a traffic stop in a marked vehicle with lights and sirens.
Right.
If you didn't hear the sirens or see the lights, I
mean, you called back up to your place.
Well, I called back up because somebody is getting out of a cop car.
The situation escalated when the officer called for backup and her supervisor, a sergeant, arrived at the scene. The sergeant immediately confronted the driver, accusing him of obstructing and interfering with the traffic stop despite not being present during the initial interaction. The sergeant failed to articulate if the driver was being detained or not, but he continued to escalate the situation.
You called back up for your safety, but
Well, you don't pull up behind an officer on a traffic stop.
you don't even know what's going on.
You're right, I don't.
So why are you saying that?
Because I'm here and what you're doing right now is against the
You
law.
almost ran me off the road.
Okay, well then you should have pulled over for lights and sirens. She said it on the radio that you didn't yield. And it's on dash cam, I'm assuming.
This the disconnect, man.
Sir,
I'll tell you what, let her finish her business and then we can sit down and talk like
we're good.
adults.
I'm gonna let him go. We're good. I'm gonna let him go.
Yeah.
What? I'm sorry. What was your last name?
My last name?
Yeah.
Why you need my last name?
Because I'm asking who I'm talking to. You asked me who you were talking to.
You're not, well, not now you're going to be under arrest because what you're doing is illegal.
Listen.
What you're doing is illegal. I can charge you for interfering with
Just give me your last name.
Why?
Because I'm conducting business with you right
I'm
now.
not being detained. Where my friend
You want to be.
10-4. That's not going to
how
be
it
the
works.
driver.
What's your RS?
Stand by.
What's your reasonable articulate
Okay.
suspicion of my crime?
I'm going to get rid of him.
Hold on, I'll explain to you, okay?
Am I being detained?
Right now.
Am I being detained?
If you want to be.
10-4. That's
No, that's not how it works. What's your RS?
Stand by.
My RS?
Reasonable articulate
Okay.
suspicion of my
Okay,
crime.
here,
I'm gonna get
first,
rid of
okay, hold on. I'll explain it to you, okay? Doing what you're doing right now.
No, sir, she almost ran me off the road.
Okay, again, you didn't yield to lights and siren. You came out.
She was next to me and stopped and almost ran me off the road.
Okay,
What are you talking
okay,
about?
listen to me. You asked my reasonable articulable suspicion. It's not
I'm
its proper
not under
cause.
arrest. If you arrest me, you violate my rights.
I don't want to arrest you. We have to
You're
ID
going to
you.
violate my rights. That's what you're going to
Okay,
do?
we have to ID you. You understand that? Yes, we do.
All right, I'm gonna videotape it.
Okay, we got you on camera
I'm
too.
gonna call. They can come get the car. You're violating my rights.
Come getting. Who's getting what car?
They can come. You're gonna arrest
Radio,
me,
another
right?
car here. I got a male who's obstructing.
No, I'm not.
And, he's refusing to identify himself. So I'll take a report on it, but I need your ID. Yeah.
I'm dealing with her.
The driver explained what had transpired to the sergeant, but both officers insisted on obtaining his identification, even though no crime had been committed. The sergeant eventually handcuffed the driver, alleging obstruction and interference.
Listen,
Right.
I'm asking you to identify yourself so I can let my dispatcher know who I'm out with. If you don't identify yourself, that is obstruction. You are the one that came out.
Obstruction is a secondary crime. What crime did I commit?
There's no crime, but I'm identifying you. Okay.
Thank you.
I need your driver license.
Look, man, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to arrest you if you don't identify yourself.
She just said it was no crime.
It is
Listen.
a crime. Obstructing is a
What
crime.
crime?
Obstructing is a crime.
Identify yourself, guys.
She almost ran me off the road.
And then I still have to identify you.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna call in for the car. You can arrest me.
Okay, turn around. Put that gun back.
Because I didn't do anything.
Okay, turn around.
I didn't do anything.
Listen, just all you have to do.
I don't have my ID with me.
Okay, what's your cell phone?
Date of birth, that's all we asked for.
For what?
Because I need to let my dispatcher know. It's not a big deal. Last name, sir.
Kern, man.
Kern?
You know what happened. Why are you letting him
Listen,
do this?
he's the sergeant.
He's violating my rights.
He is not. He
Come here, have a
didn't
seat. We're gonna give you a
identify
ticket when we
yourself.
send you on your way. You have a valid driver's license?
Yeah, I do. You violate my rights,
Yeah,
man.
were you getting a ticket for interfering with the traffic?
How did I interfere? She almost ran me off the road.
And you could have pulled off and waited and called.
I did wait when she said wait.
You were out here talking to her. Have a seat.
Mr. Kern, just
Don't
have...
push me,
Have
man.
a seat.
Why are you so full of machismo, man?
Dude, have a seat. I'm not putting up with your okay? Have a seat.
What's wrong with you, man?
Have a
I'm
seat.
sitting down.
All the way in.
If he
He's going
checks...
for obstructing. Or he's getting a
You're
ticket
gonna...
for
I
obstructing.
don't...
Is he valid?
I don't know. I'm waiting for the radio to say. So this is what happened. That vehicle matched the description of the vehicle from Weird yesterday. I saw it. I initiated a traffic stop. That person, instead of like pulling over, he stopped abruptly. And I'm getting behind him, but he stopped abruptly. This guy was very close to him, and we almost did get into an accident because that driver stopped so abruptly. I did, yes.
He gets a ticket for there's no ifs, ands, or buts about this.
Okay.
He's getting a ticket for
Radio 1, if you need to read back on that, yes, I have it.
emergency vehicle.
Yes, radio, I do. That's why I provided
It
it.
was to a Demetrius Raphael Kern. It's a 37-year-old male. He's valid. That's one.
So he gets a ticket and then he can come to court.
Listen, I don't feel like I need to give him a ticket for that. I'm cool with just...
for obstructing.
Okay, I mean, I'm cool with letting him go. I didn't understand.
He's in handcuffs.
And he's being a jerk.
He obstructed. He refused.
This was a baseless assumption, as the driver had simply waited on the side of the road until the officer finished her traffic stop. The driver provided his information to the officers, although he was not legally required to do so. The sergeant's behavior demonstrated an unjustified power trip, while the first officer seemed to acknowledge her mistake and attempted to rectify it.
You guys got a lawsuit
Mr. Kern,
coming.
just hang on. Just
You got a lawsuit coming.
Listen, let me explain to you. You don't get out of the car yet. The sergeant wants me to give you a ticket for obstruction, okay? I'm not going to do anything else. Listen, he's the boss. He is the boss.
I don't have to refuse if I didn't commit a crime. This isn't a stop and ID state.
At this point, it is a traffic stop because you're out on a
almost ran me
traffic
off
stop.
the road.
Mr.
You
Kern,
know
we
it.
just had that conversation. I did not almost run you off the road.
That Tesla has cameras in it. So
Okay.
you guys are going to pay for this.
That's fine. Mr. Kern, I apologize. I really do. And this is on body cam, alright? This is, the sergeant's telling me to do this, so listen, I'm just doing what I'm told to do, alright?
Afterwards, the driver was released from handcuffs, but the sergeant insisted on pursuing charges. The first officer apologized to the driver, stating she was just following orders. The driver expressed his intention to take legal action against both officers and the police department, citing violation of his rights.
Here's your property.
Hold on, let me get this hand.
Sure.
Hey, who's pushing one more?
Cuffs are these, man.
Some janky, rusty ass stuff. Do you want to sign or are you going to refuse? Alright, I'm going to give you a copy of it.
You guys violated my rights. You know.
Well, we'll all be in court.
Ultimately, the driver received a citation and a court date for obstruction. However, just 11 days later, the prosecutor filed a motion to dismiss the case due to a lack of evidence. The driver plans to proceed with a civil lawsuit against the officers and the department.